Honorable Vice Chancellor of Bangladesh Agricultural University, Honorable Chair of this session, Dean of the Faculty of Fisheries, Professor Mahfuzul Haq sir, dear respectable audiences, and we have also as a guest, special guest, Dr. Yahya Mahmood, Director General of Bangladesh Fisheries Research Institute, and Mr. Azizul Haq, who is the Director of the Department of Fisheries, and also the President of the Fisheries Society of Bangladesh, Professor Dr. Shahidul Haq. We are very happy that we are arranging this second biennial conference of the Fisheries Society of Bangladesh after 2 years and during this pandemic. And it's an immense pleasure that the chief patron of this special ceremony and the Vice Chancellor of Bangladesh Agricultural University, Professor Dr. Lutful Hassan, sir, has kindly agreed and is already attending us as the chief guest of this session. We're also happy to share with you that the inaugural session will have a very lucrative presentation on marine finfish aquaculture for the blue economy, which will be presented by Professor Dr. Shah Alam, who is the professor of the Center of Marine Science, University of North Carolina, Wilmington. With these few introductory words, I would like to request the President of the Society, Professor Dr. Shahidul Haq sir, to start with his welcome address. And definitely, once again, to mention this session is chaired by the Dean of the Faculty of Fisheries, VAU, Professor Dr. Mahfuzul Haq sir. So I call Professor Shahidul Haq sir to start with his welcome address.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Professor Harun. Honorable Chairman, Professor Dr. Mahfuzul Haq, Dean Faculty of Fisheries, Bangladesh Agricultural University, Mymensingh. Honorable Chief Guest and Chief Patron, Professor Dr. Lutful Hassan, Vice Chancellor of Bangladesh Agricultural University, Mymensingh. Honorable special guests of the Directors Generals of Department of Fisheries and Bangladesh Fisheries Research Institute, respectively. Government People's Republic of Bangladesh. The keynote speakers, session chairman, participants, moderators, and all connected to this virtual session of the second biennial conference of the Fisheries Society of Bangladesh. Assalamu alaikum, adab, and good morning. It is my proud privilege to deliver welcome address of the Biennial Conference 2021 of the Fisheries Society of Bangladesh. Due to COVID-19 and Omicron pandemic awareness, we have arranged virtual conference of our Fisheries Society of Bangladesh. I pay my respect to National Professor Dr. Enamul Hoq. I express my gratitude to Honorable Chief Guest, Special Guest, and all for joining this session. I am grateful to the Chairman of this session, Professor, for his kind cooperation despite his cardiac surgery recently. In this Biennial Conference 2021, keynote speakers will deliver keynote addresses
जी सर पावर फेलियर হয়েছে একটু ডাটা দিয়ে জয়েন করতে পারেন কিনা স্যার আমি ডাটা দিয়ে জয়েন করছি স্যার স্যার থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার 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 আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার
in Bangladesh. on the mentioned areas. Such oral presentation will take place in 3 parallel sessions. I hope these parallel sessions will be informative and scientific research. Result will help us to know the present status and future trend of the stated areas of fisheries in Bangladesh. I hope the research result will provide reliable data and will be helpful for the policymakers to prepare good plan of this sector to help the government successful and useful work for people of Bangladesh. This biennial conference will enrich fisheries education too. I request the chairs of different session reporters to organize in time schedule. I expect the theme and recommendations of this biennial conference 2021 will be conveyed to the highest authority of the government, particularly honorable ministers, parliamentarians, policymakers to pay attention and importance of the recommendations. I thank all members of the Fisheries Society of Bangladesh. I thank particular participants of this biennial conference of Fisheries Society of Bangladesh 2021. At the end of my welcome speech, I hope this conference will be successful. Thanks to all. Professor Dr. Muhammad Shahidul Haq, President, Fisheries Society of Bangladesh, 2019-2021. Faculty of Fisheries, Bangladesh Agricultural University, Mymensingh. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful welcome speech. We apologize for our colleagues for the inconvenience that a good number of our colleagues living in BOE campus are unable to join because of power cuts. I'm actually connecting using the data. As you have heard from the president of the society, is that we are actually expecting a very vibrant conference for the 2 days with a good number of participants from home and abroad. And to inform you briefly is that we have 4 keynote presentations in our inaugural session and the technical sessions. The keynote paper 1 will be presented by Professor Dr. Shah Alam from the University of Wilmington, North Carolina, USA. In the inaugural session, the keynote paper 2 will be presented by Professor Dr. Mahfuzul. Keynote paper 3 will be presented by Dr. Ghulam Hussain. And keynote paper 4 will be presented by Professor Dr. Shah Alam. With this, a brief introduction on this keynotes, I would like to now take some time of the Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir in his busy schedule and welcome you all to have the keynote presentation in the inaugural session, which will be presented by Professor Dr. Shah Alam. And this presentation is on blue economy, and I hope that with the immense interest of our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir supporting the blue economic growth in Bangladesh and all others actually towards the priority of the government for blue economy, I hope that all of you will be enjoying this keynote presentation by Professor Dr. Shah Alam, which is on the marine finfish aquaculture for blue economy. Very briefly about Professor Dr. Shah Alam. Professor Alam is a faculty in the Aquaculture Program Center for Marine Science in the University of North Carolina Wilmington, who is actually an alumni of BAU Faculty of Fisheries, graduated and also obtained his master's from the Department of Fisheries Technology. And he gratefully acknowledges his supervisor, Professor Dr. Muhammad Arshad Hussain, and co-supervisors, Professor Dr. Muhammad Kamal and Professor Dr. Subhash Chakraborty. Professor Alam is also a Enamul Hoq scholarship holder, obtained his PhD from Faculty of Fisheries of Kagoshima University, from where our President of the Society and Dean of the Faculty, Professor Mahfuzul, sir, both of them actually are graduated, and our another professor, Professor Salah Madam, also graduated from the same university. Professor Alam then actually attended the same university as a postdoctoral fellow, and then later he joined University of North Carolina Wilmington as a visiting research assistant professor and is still working there. So this is, at this moment, it's our pleasure to invite Professor Dr. Muhammad Shah Alam to start with his keynote presentation. And I hope that the Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, and all the guests will be enjoying this beautiful presentation, which is a priority area. And after that, we will listen from our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, and a special guest. And formally, the afternoon session will be the technical session. So I request your patience to enjoy this presentation. Please, Professor Dr. Muhammad Shah Alam, start with your presentation, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Dr. Harun, for your introduction. Shubha Shakal. Good morning, everybody. Although it is midnight in the United States, where I am now living in North Carolina. Can you hear me, Harun?
Yes, we can hear you clear, and the slide is also visible. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Session Chairman, my dear Sir, Professor Dr. Mahfuzul Haq, Dean, Faculty of Fisheries, Bangladesh Agriculture University, Mymensingh. First, I would like to say thanks to the President of the Fisheries Society of Bangladesh, Professor Dr. Shahidul Haq, sir, and Dr. Harun, and also all other committee members for inviting me. I am really feeling honored for getting this invitation. Thank you to the Chief Guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Lutful Hassan, sir, and also special guest from BFRI and also DOF, and who will present and also listening this presentation and participating in this program. As Dr. Harun already introduced me, I am a research associate professor from University of North Carolina, Wilmington, Center for Marine Science Aquaculture program. Before going to details, let me introduce my team members. But before I like to say something, today I would like to present our research on marine finfish aquaculture for blue economy, controlled breeding, larviculture, intensive grow-out production, and sustainable feed production, sustainable feed development of high-value marine fish species in a recirculating aquaculture system in southeastern USA. I am proud and happy to see the tremendous aquaculture production especially in freshwater in Bangladesh. I hope and to see more activities and research in marine aquaculture or marine fish production in Bangladesh. If any of these today's presentation or slides or information helps for the mariculture, finfish mariculture in Bangladesh, that will be my pleasure. Let me introduce my team members. So, Dr. Wade Watanabe is our research professor and director for aquaculture program, UNCW. I'll use UNCW as my university of North Carolina Wilmington throughout the presentation. Research specialist, we have a Patrick Carroll. Now, my journey I started from BU in 1988. And now at the University of North Carolina Wilmington, USA, via Kagoshima University, as Dr. Harun already introduced. When I see this picture, BU, I am a little bit nostalgic now. I have so many memories in BAU where I spent my golden times. I'll briefly describe blue economy, mariculture, why finfish mariculture is our present mariculture research at UNCW, marine fish breeding, larval, grow-out rearing, waste management techniques, what everything we do in recirculating aquaculture system. And I'll present in briefly my area of specialization and research on sustainable, cost-effective marine fish feed development. This is my journey where when I started in BU, Fisheries 86, 87 days. So the journey is still I'm here at UNCW doing. So my master's research in Bangladesh Agriculture University. I did my MS while I was a senior officer in Sonali Bank, Coxbazar branch, on investigation on the pond management practice and production of shrimp in semi-intensive shrimp park in Coxbazar. My supervisor was Professor Dr. Ashad Hussain and co-supervisor Professor Dr. Kamal sir and also Dr. Shubar sir. And yes, Dr. Nazrul Islam sir, he really helped me a lot during my master's time, and also some other professors. These slides, if you see that two Professor Dr. Ashad Hussain and Dr. Shinichi Teshima Kagoshima University, who actually opened my eyes in the world of aquaculture research sector. In the middle person is Professor Teshima's wife. They were in Malaysia in Asian Fisheries Forum. Then after my master's, I got a scholarship from Japanese government, Monbuka Agabusho, by selecting by the US, by the Japanese embassy and also the Ministry of Education by open competition. And then I was placed in Kagoshima University, and my major supervisor was Professor Shinichi Teshima, and I had co-supervisor Professor Sansuke Kushio. Excuse me. I did my master's PhD and JSPS postdoc for fish nutrition and feed development. The aquaculture nutrition lab in Kagoshima University, one of the world famous and pioneer for the feed development study. While I was in Kagoshima, I met with so many BAU professors, as I should mention, and they helped me and motivate me during my stay in Kagoshima, such as Professor Dr. Mahfuzul Haq, Dean Sir, Dr. Saleh Khan. I was motivated by her, so many scientific research she was doing that time. Dr. Jwadar Farooq, Dr. Shahruz Mahan Haq, who all actually went together, we went on the same flight in Kagoshima. And yes, I met with BU Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Lutful Hassan sir and his family in Kagoshima also. Thank you, sir, everybody, for your wonderful help. Then I started my journey in USA 2005, just after finished my JSPS postdoc. So when I came in USA, UNCW, they said, you have to do research day, and at night you have to do MBA. The reason, this was the new program that developed business of marine biotechnology. Scientists should know not only research, they have to know the how to technology commercialized. I did it. So here is the one book that I like to, at the beginning of my presentation, to introduce you that I was lucky to be one of the co-authors of a chapter, Marine Finfish Aquaculture, where you can find so many information about the marine finfish aquaculture. Our team and also NC State University Professor Dr. Harry Daniels and Jeff Hinshaw was the co-authors together. And the book is Aquaculture, Farming Aquatic Animals and Plants. You can find this Amazon or also Willie Blackwell Sense. I hope maybe your library has also one of the copy. Now, UNCW Center for Marine Science. This is a world-class center that we do applied marine science, especially in the area of marine biotechnology, drug discovery, harmful algae, natural products, oceanography, finfish mariculture, and also oyster hatchery. We belongs to the CMS and Finfish Mariculture program. The goal is to develop and transfer to commercial user cost-effective, environmentally sound technology for marine food production to mitigate and depletion of the marine population through commercial cultivation and stock enhancement. So now where we are located? We are located in east coast of United States. You see here is the Atlantic Ocean. So just this bank of the Atlantic Ocean is the North Carolina Wilmington. And this is the just near the Wrightsville Beach, a very beautiful place. Now, blue economy. Blue economy is ocean-based activities, as you know, that utilizing the marine resources. Blue economy, I found one slide that is from the internet, the blue economy definition. It deals so many things, but I will focus on fisheries and mariculture and aquaculture. Yes, marine aquaculture is one of the most important area need to focus. As I said, so many countries already started a blue economy, which is a very hot topic nowadays. So blue foods, it is important, and nowadays almost you know that omega-3 rich in the blue foods or ocean-based or marine fish. So increasing access and availability of sustainable blue foods can play an important role in local and global system for food security. Can reduce the global human malnutrition, poverty, and significant socioeconomic benefit. And mariculture is one of the areas that's cultivation of marine organisms or edible things such as finfish, shrimp, oyster. So many areas in mariculture. And blue foods should be sustainable way, scientific innovation, research, management, or proper policy making without damaging the ocean or resources. Now, this slide is, I like to explain why marine fish culture is complicated in many countries. Some of you maybe already know that. There are some fundamental biotechnical reasons why production of larvae and juvenile are major challenges in marine fish hatchery. Because marine fish, finfish is in general have more complex life cycle and relatively small yolk sac and produce tiny transparent microscopic eggs and larvae compared to those of freshwater fish. And yes, live feed like a microalgae, rotifer, and brine shrimp and artemia, those are the very important and necessary for the marine fish. And they have a small mouth opening just after hatching. So that means the significant long-term investment in research by university and public-private sector are required when planning for blue economy in mariculture. Now, briefly, status of marine aquaculture and major aquaculture species. US is the leading global importer of seafood, and US also supply advanced technology in feed equipment research. US import 70 to 85% of seafood, and you'll be surprised 50% of this seafood is from aquaculture. And US marine aquaculture production is increasing slowly, 1.7% per year, which is a new science, as you know. The largest single sector of US marine aquaculture is oyster, clams, and mussels. Of course, the shrimp, called white shrimp or Leptopenas venami, as well as salmon. And also we produce barramundi, Asian sea bass. One of my students working in New York in the Asian sea bass. So I hope in Bangladesh also is working to introduce Asian sea bass. And there are so many other species, like a new species, and they're trying to introduce, like a white sea bass, black sea bass, red drum, flounder. And the culture, some of this offshore, some of this recirculating. Now, marine aquaculture in a changing environment or climate change, as you know, this is the one of the another area in big concern. These slides, you see that in 2018, there was a devastating hurricane cyclone that killed so many people and devastated homes. So we live here and the hurricane directly hit here. Thanks God that we survived. We were not here at that time. But you see, if you think site or location is important. So some countries is doing, but because of climate change, is it offshore or onshore? So that's the, depends on the area. Now, why land-based recirculating aquaculture system? There are some advantages. It saves land, crop, culture, and housing. Reduce digging so many ponds in land-limited countries. Like Bangladesh, I think in Bangladesh, if we make so many ponds and increase continuous, it's good. We are increasing aquaculture, but there will be land shortage. So we need to find something alternatives. Yes, we can produce much more production, but without using a lot of land. And yes, it's about polluting in offshore environment. And we can do high density study. And most important benefit is more control over the system, fluid, effluent, waste compared to the offshore. And yes, it can be protected from natural calamity, but there is some consideration: cost, species, technology, and education. So relatively, as it is a high cost, capital cost, so need to find a species that is high value, high demand, and exportable, and culturable in high density, such as I said, coral, black sea bass, European sea bass, such fish. Now, let's say a little bit about our NCAA aquaculture facility, recirculating aquaculture component. So our state-of-the-art filtration technology, one of the most important area for recirculating system is the filtration. It's developed or built by our facility manager, Patrick Carroll, with the support of aquaculture engineer from North Carolina State University, Dr. Thomas Losardo, and our program director, Dr. Wade Watanabe. As you see that when we think about the recirculating aquaculture system, we don't use seawater directly to the tanks. So what we do instead, we usually filter the fish. First is in our seawater tower, as you see. Sorry, my pointer is sometimes making me not okay. As you see the tower, so we bring all the seawater here, filtered, and oxygen. We need to make sure that we have plenty of oxygen. And then we have to make sure that we have air condition, heat pump. That we have to make sure that the water temperature we can control. So we have used a sludge collector, of course, the pump, filter, drum screen filter, heat pump. These are the some component, biofilter, oxygen cone. So these are the one-time investment. So once you have invest, you can continue the production. But for recirculating aquaculture system, one more things I like to share. We use, everything is automatic. So in case if any water parameter is problem or any, so our sensiphone automatic message to the technician, that's some water quality difference or pH, salinity, anything. So immediately they come to fix it. It's just like an on-call doctor. And then what species we work? Our NCW aquaculture program work on black sea bass, southern flounder, red codfish. The reason that excellent food fish, high market value, and some of this overfished in Atlantic Ocean and promising species for tank culture. And the spawning, larvae culture, rearing, and grow out facility is already established by our UNCW expert. And we recently working on gag grouper, another new species. Now, let's say the broodstock management. When you bring the fish from the ocean, we need to quarantine. We need to acclimatize them in the tank, because we have to make sure that the seawater environment, we give everything in the tanks. So after quarantine, this is the critical part to feed them, especially with the, when they are ocean, you know what they eat, but when they come in the tanks, immediately it takes time to adjust. This is our technician is trying to keep this fish alive just after taking with some ventilator and oxygen. As I said, we have the boat, so some of our technicians go to collect for the first generation if necessary of fish. Now, spawning and marine fish at UNCW. As I said that the spawning technique is already established there, and we photothermally control. We manipulate the fish any time of the whole year. We can produce the eggs, but mostly in season time. How? Controlling the photothermal period, adjusting the light, and we use LHRHA implant. This is our research specialist who is actually expert. Of course, we are together a team and together we work. Now, this is another important area to consider for mariculture, especially for the larva. You can produce the eggs, but if you cannot produce enough juvenile, then we cannot make it for the commercial culture. So that is the critical part to keep alive the larval fish, of marine fish particularly, because as I said, they need live feed. So from the day 2, we start after egg yolk set hatching, we use rotifer, which is the tiny, small type zooplankton. And then after some couple of days, we use Artemia. And we also use microdiets. As you see in this slide will show you that what day, what we start, and different types of microdiets we use. And yes, all the rotifer and Artemia are enriched to give more nutrition by DHA or EPA. And as I said, all these things you can find in our book, chapter 20, that's we wrote. Now, live feed production at UNCW. As I said, when you think about the marine culture or finfish mariculture, we have to develop the live feed production. So we produce a rotifer culture at our UNCW, and also large scale, and as well as we can produce 175 million rotifer per day. So many universities and other countries also, we supply them. And micro algae lab culture, we usually use nanoclarpsis for as a micro algae pest. Excuse me. And Dr. Harun, couple of years before, when he came to North Carolina, University of North Carolina, Greensboro as a Fulbright fellowship. So I was lucky to see him, and he came here with his family, and he was trying to know the live feed expert with Jennifer to understand what actually we are doing here. Now, we need to feed the fish, not only live feed, because live feed is expensive. So we have to find something that we can save money. everywhere is cost-effective thinking. So when I was in Kagoshima University, I learned the technique of microdite development, microdite production. My professor Teshima, who is the pioneer in this area. So we did some studies, how much live feed we can reduce by microdites. So we do some studies on microdite. Now, here you can see mariculture, hatchery, and larviculture lab at our NCW. As I said, we control everything from illumination, temperature, and use a filtered water, 1 micron, UV sterilized water. And yes, all our larviculture and hatchery is controlled. We can control all the environmental parameters like temperature, salinity, light intensity, photo period, whatever we need to make the fish larvae happy. So here is some slide for our larviculture and nursery tanks. As you see, we do different kind of experiment for the stocking density, water quality, or whatever necessary as per our project. Now, juvenile production. We produce juvenile in our recirculating aquaculture system. The reason it's not our commercial aquaculture facility, it is our research facility. So we produce juvenile for what? To understand the environmental and nutritional requirement, feed development of juvenile through market stage or other studies. And the nearing protocol, as you see in this chart, this is established by our aquaculture facility for the optimum level. We maintain optimum water quality requirement for the mariculture species we do here. Now, for grow-out studies, main purposes is pilot scale studies, demonstration, economic analysis, feed development, and effluent management. As you see, some of our students is doing sampling for their thesis work. Now, we do economic analysis and marketing study to understand cost benefit analysis of marine fish, as well as for some market demand. Like we collect fish from the tanks, and then the fish goes to the New York or some Asian market and it used as a sushi or sashimi. We want to see how the market demand. Some of our students do market analysis. Now, another important area to think for recirculating aquaculture system is waste management or effluent management, and also aquaponics. A major pollutant in the effluent recirculating system is total suspended solid. We need to know that because it comes from the uneaten feed, fish, feces, so many other stuff. So what we do, and we have to follow the rules and regulation of Environment Protection Agency of USA. So we cannot release the water as it is in the environment. Of course, the recirculating system, but 100% is not recirculating, at least 5 to 10% water we release. So to release, we have to collect all the solids by the geotube. You see that one kind of sac, just collect the filter. And after filtered water, this water goes to our aquaponics system. That's recently we developed one kind of. The problem is for marine fish is salt. We cannot produce tomato and some other things. Like I see our Professor Dr. Azizul Haque in aquaculture of BAU is doing wonderful job for the aquaponics. But in our case, we have to find some plants. Those are, edible, but there is a few. So we found Silicornia virginica, which is US use salad as it, and that can use some nitrogen and phosphorus from the waste. Now, I would like to little bit about my area of expertise, sustainable cost-effective feed development research at NCW. As you know, that feed cost can represent up to 50 to 60%. This is not only US problem, it is all over the world. Need to find something what we can make the feed cost lower. And fish meal is one of the expensive and not sustainable, as you know. So we have to find something alternative. So our target is to find the cost-effective, nutritionally balanced, and environmentally sound feed. But how? Searching alternative protein sources to reduce fish meal. We have to find the nutrients, is it digestible or not? Balanced formulation, ingredients quality. So many things we need to know. These slides, if you say I can explain a little bit, I actually got this slide from my PhD supervisor, Dr. Shinichi Teshima, you see that diets, fish growth, and environment, how interconnected. Feed should be the digestible, palatable, and what about the water stability, how much nutrient, and environment parameter. So when you try to make intensive commercial culture, either freshwater or marine water, these are some area to focus, you have to consider. Now, what I did, we tested several alternative protein sources available in North Carolina, such as solvent extracted soybean meal, cottonseed meal, and poultry byproduct. The reason, this is cheaper in the United States and available and good source of protein. Although some studies done for the freshwater fish, but for marine fish, there is no research for this species we use here. So we did several studies, and some of this is already published in scientific journal. So here is one thing I like to share. When I came in UNCW, there is no feed preparation group, feed or nutrition analysis or lab. So when I came, the university supported me, including Dr. Watanabe and funding agency helped me to establish a fish nutrition lab. It is not yet my dream lab, but I started from the scratch, from zero. So this everything you see here, I purchased, and our graduate student is preparing that. So next, biochemical analysis lab at aquaculture facility. As you see, this is also was not exist when I came here, 2005. So when I came, the university was kind enough to give me a building, this building, and we developed the nutrition and other analytical starting from zero, but now still we are progressing. One of my students is working for digestibility study. So evaluated parameter, what parameters we evaluate? We check growth performance, feed efficiency, diets and tissue biochemical analysis, mostly fatty acid, amino acid, and digestibility study. So this is the one example. I'm not going to details that how we design our experiment for fish meal replacement study. As menhaden fish meal is gradually decreased, but its soybean meal is increased. So all other nutrients were same. What we found? So when we did this studies, we found black sea bass, southern flounder, and red porgy are able to utilize high level of soybean meal. If you see that, I mean 68.4% fish meal could be replaced for black sea bass, whereas for flounder is 38.5%. For red porgy is 34.5%. So what that means? That even 3 is marine fish, but their replacement, fish meal replacement level is different. So difference could be the freshwater fish, which is a lot of studies already done. We found that EP and DHA concentration in whole bodies were not significantly different compared to the control diet. We did studies on poultry byproduct meal, and we found high level of poultry byproduct meal could be utilized by all 3 species. And you see 81.8 to 90% of fish meal protein could be replaced by the poultry byproduct meal for the marine fish we use here. We also tested cottonseed meal. Cottonseed meal is huge in United States, especially in North Carolina. It is underutilized. So the industry thought if they can use for aquaculture, they can get a huge market. But the problem is gossypol. It is a toxic, fish cannot utilize. So the company produced the product that eliminating or reducing the gossypol. And then we tested at our UNCW aquaculture facility for marine fish, and we found significant amount of fish meal protein. This is 75% fish meal protein could be replaced by ultra-low gossypol cottonseed meal. Now, on the basis of all these lab scale studies, we conducted pilot scale studies. Our UNCW formulated cost-effective diets. We gave formula to the company. They produce our diets because we don't have any bigger extruder. And then we provided diet, we supplied that to the to the commercial farm. So long-term studies further supported our short-term studies. We found that soybean meal could be used for both black seabass and flounder, even for the grow-out long-term study. So my alternative protein sources findings were a significant amount of fish meal could be replaced to formulate cost-effective diets for flounder, black seabass, and red poultry. It will reduce the dependence of marine fish meal because the marine fish is a carnivorous species. So we need to find something alternative. And our findings could be modeled for other mariculture species. And fish meal replacement is species specific. Now, our current research at NCAA Aquaculture program. At present, we are working on effects of microplastic and cotton microfiber in fish feed and fish body histopathological study. The reason that nowadays, it's 2 days before in Bangladesh also daily study, there is a news that plastic ocean. Yes, this is big concern now. So we are working on to see that how microplastics affect the fish body or in fish feed. We are trying to introduce another new species, gag grouper, and we are working on aquaponics, especially the salt-tolerant plants that could be edible. And recently, we just have completed one global marine science mini summit, which usually we do every 2 years. We invite scientists, professors from all over the world, and we try to collaborate to understand what they are doing, we are doing. So anyone can see our presentation is over there. Now, I was lucky enough to visit Bangladesh in 2015 and to see how the Bangladesh is doing wonderful job in aquaculture. So I was invited by the USAID Bangladesh for an international aquaculture consultant with Professor Dr. Kaumana Kwagrani, and who is from Indiana Purdue University, to do the gap analysis of aquaculture sector. I visited 16 to 18 districts in the Khulna region, Joshua, and I have a wonderful talk with several farms, Fisheries Institute, expert and governments, personnel and stakeholder. As you said, Dr. Ghulam Hossain Shah was also same time in World Feed. Dr. Manjur Karim, I also helped a lot that time. Now, the slide I like to little bit. I know Bangladesh is trying to mariculture, especially for the Asian sea bass. In some species, Hilsha shed. I know India is working to culture. So I hope one day to see that as similar species like an American shed. This fish actually I bought a couple of months before from our local market. Although this is American shed, but I do not find the same taste like I have in Hilsha. But American shed spawning culture is technically already established. Because of this is not demandable fish in USA, it's not cultured. Yeah. They use before for stock enhancement. And silver pomfret is another species that Florida pompon was similar type, that's also cultured in many countries. So I hope to see the silver pomfret in Bangladesh. And then I know Dr. Ashad sir, my supervisor, is working in Kuwait on silver pomfret fish. So I would like to share some of my wonderful moments. Professor Dr. M. Wahab sir, I was lucky to see him at my place when he came here with Dr. Borowski in NC State University. Dr. Harun, as I said before. And recently, Dr. Ghulam Farooq, this is pandemic time. I was not able to give enough time, but I was lucky to find him in North Carolina in my lab. And Professor Dr. Tafajjul Islam, who came 3 times in my university and also my aquaculture facility. And recently we invited him to give a lecture for his probiotic biotechnological research. And I would like to say thanks to the Fisheries Society of Bangladesh for this invitation and all our funding agency for conducting the research, and BAU professors who supported and motivated me during my higher education journey. Thank you everybody. And you can see some of the references. If you interested, I'll be happy to provide, or you can get some information. Thank you so much. And any question, please email anytime. ধন্যবাদ, সবাই ভালো থাকেন, সুস্থ থাকেন। Thank you so much. And নিরাপদ থাকেন।
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Shah Alam. It was a wonderful presentation, and I really enjoyed it, and hope that all of us, including our chief guest and chief patron, our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Dean Sir, everybody enjoyed it. And at this stage, on the blue economy of Bangladesh, when this country is striving for this new arena, I'd like to welcome a very brief question from some of us, so that we can quickly be done with this presentation and questions, and then next we can go for the speech by the special guest and chief guest. A very brief question from any one of you, or you may also contact Professor Dr. Shah Alam in the email given above. So if there is any question, please feel free to ask. One or two questions, please. Or in this inaugural session, actually, it is better to skip the question, and with many thanks to Professor Dr. Shah Alam, we would like to express our gratitude and move forward to the next step with the speech of a special guest. I hope that you will be able to reply to the queries you will receive from the scientists and participants who attended here. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Harun, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Next, I would like to call the speech of Mr. Azizul Haq, who is the Director of the Department of Fisheries under Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock. Give the speech as a special guest, Mr. Azizul Haq, Director of the Department of Fisheries.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello.
sir, we can hear you. Yes, sir.
It's my honor to be invited in this inaugural session for the second biennial conference of Fisheries Society Bangladesh, formed by our respected sir, father of fisheries education, former professor and vice chancellor and national professor, Dr. A.K.M. Enamul Hoq. I want to convey my salam to the chief guest, respected vice chancellor of Bangladesh Agricultural University, Mymensingh, Professor Dr. Lutful Hassan. My good wishes go to respected special guest, Director General BFRI, Dr. Mahfuzul, and President, Fisheries Society of Bangladesh, Dr. Shahidul Haq. I also express my gratitude to the chair of this session, Professor Dr. Mahfuzul Haq, Dean, Faculty of Fisheries, Bangladesh Agricultural University, Mymensingh, and all the distinguished participants hearing this session on virtual platform. From the time immemorial, the Bengalis have been bearing the adage, Masebate Bengali, fish is a popular complement to rice in the national diet. The favorable geographical position of Bangladesh comes with the large number of aquatic species and provides plenty of resources to support fisheries potentially. The scope of production of fish has unfurled because of vast area of water. Bangladesh is named the land of rivers with crisscrossed rivers, Khal, Bil, Haur, Baur, pond, lake, dish, floodplains, and vast marine area are blessed with fisheries resources. In this regard, the father of the nation and the visionary leader, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, mentioned that fish would be the second major foreign currency earning source of Bangladesh. The water resources have driven Bangladesh one of the leading fish producing countries in the world. In 2019 to 2020, our production was 45.03 lakh metric ton fish, where the target was 44.85 lakh metric ton. The fisheries sector plays an important role of animal protein supply, employment opportunity, foreign earnings, aquatic diversity conservation, and socio-economic development of Bangladesh. It contributes 3.52% GDP and 26.37% to agricultural GDP. Now per capita fish consumption contains 62.58 grams per day against the set target of 60 grams per day. This sector provides about 195 lakh people, that is 12% employment opportunity of the total production population directly or indirectly. This contribution of fisheries sector comes from three broad areas: inland capture fisheries, inland aquaculture, and marine fisheries, of which inland aquaculture subsector is contributing more than 57%, capture 27%, and marine 15% of the total production. Shrimp industry of Bangladesh is one of the most important contributors for the economic development in Bangladesh in the marine cultured shrimp, is tiger shrimp. Now Bangladesh acquired third position in inland open water capture fish production, fifth position in inland aquaculture fish production, fourth around the globe, and third within Asia in tilapia production, and first in Hilsa producing countries. In 2019 to 20 fiscal year, Bangladesh earns 4,000 crore taka against near about 80,000 metric ton fish and fisheries products. Here only shrimp earns 3,000 crore taka. Shrimp prawn, living live fish, frozen fish, chill fish, dry fish, salted, dehydrated fish, crab, shrimp, finfish, news, and others were the export items of fish and fisheries product. Promoting aquaculture and shrimp farming through extension service management of wetlands, conservation of freshwater and marine water fisheries, application of information technology in aquaculture and open water fisheries, optimization of fish inspection and quality control programs, and acceleration of farm mechanization have been adapted to reach the target. Well-equipped DOF personnel has been rendering extension services through different apps to the root level farmers to remote areas. Laws and acts have been formulated and amended for quality fish and shrimp production. The strategies and policies adopted and amended by the Department of Fisheries envisaged the targets of Vision 2021. Hence, it is DOF initiatives to reach the targets encrypted in the Sustainable Development Goals and Vision. Vision 2021 to reduce existing poverty from 6.5 crores to 2.2 crores by the year 2021. The Bangladesh Delta Plan 2100 has a visionary plan to boost huge safe fish production for the nation and export of fish and fish products, considering social, economical, and environmental factors unharmed. Bangladesh is planning to set up in the era of fourth industrial revolution in the term of aquaculture 4.0, included in the world by 2025. This will benefit every sector that relies on technology. To keep pace with the transformation, the inclusion of technology in various fields and sectors began in the country since 2009, and we are now on the threshold of reaching the digital Bangladesh goals. To advance the fisheries sector in Bangladesh, we need to prepare for what can be called the fourth fisheries revolution, that is aquaculture 4.0, in line with the fourth industrial revolution. Some existing gaps, such as lack of seamless network coverage, and proper technological knowledge can be bridged if everyone works with the same spirit from their own position. This would be feasible if experts from various fields such as information technologists, fishermen, ecologists, policymakers, and above all the marginal fish farmers work in collaboration. IoT-based aquaculture and farm mechanization is a demand of our present aquaculture and fisheries. Genetical researchers on chromosomal manipulation, sex reversion, hybridization, polyploidy, genome sequencing, SPF, SPT, SPR, brood fish production, vaccine preparation for fish diseases control, multi-trophic aquaculture, seabed farming, seed production for sea bass, mullet, milk fishes, domestication of various coastal species and their culture of salt-tolerant fish species in coastal area. Culture with short aquaculture species are now a time demand fisheries activities to fulfill the visionary target of fish production. Bangladesh is blessed with her vast coastal and marine resources. By the virtue of solemnity and sincere leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Bangladesh established her legislative right in 118,813 square kilometer area of Bay of Bengal, resolving dispute over maritime boundary with neighboring countries, Myanmar and India, during 2012 and 2014 respectively. It also opens the opportunity for Bangladesh to fulfillment of animal protein, employment, poverty alleviation, export earnings, growth around sectors such as fisheries, aquaculture, tourism, export of natural resources, trade as being to promote and strengthen her blue economy for well-being of the nation. It is now very significant to take effective initiatives for promotion and strength of our blue economy, keeping the marine biobank sustained through proper conservation, management, and scientific yield from the vast marine ecosystem. Discussion on blue economy started in Bangladesh after the settlement of maritime boundary in 2014 by the guidance of the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock. Department of Fisheries has taken short-term, mid-term, and long-term national plan of action to address sustainable care and conservation of marine fisheries resources to rise up Bangladesh as a middle income country. The national plan of action updated in 2018 according to the SDG FAO. Current management and exploration is to address sustainable development goals, goal 14, life below water, conserve and sustainability, use the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development, targeting by 2020 to effective regulate harvesting and end of overfishing, illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing and destructive fishing practices to implement scientific-based management plans in order to restore fish stocks in the shortest time feasible. Bangladesh has acquired a high-tech multi-purpose fisheries survey and research vessel RV Mymensingh with the aid of Islamic Development Bank and Malaysian government under the previous project. The fisheries research and survey vessel RV Mymensingh has already conducted 31 survey cruises till May 2021 in the Bay of Bengal. DOF has a marine fisheries surveillance checkpost in Potenga, Chattogram, and 16 marine fisheries surveillance checkposts are going to be set up in coastal areas by Sustainable Coastal and Marine Fisheries Project. 65 landing centers shall be established by Sustainable coastal and marine fisheries project. We are working in marine fisheries and also aquaculture to 2041 goals, and we want to produce 90 lakh metric ton fish in our target. Thanks to the respected President of Fisheries Society of Bangladesh for organizing this valuable session. Again, my respects go to Honorable Vice Chancellor of Bangladesh Agricultural University, Chairman of the Faculty of Fisheries, distinguished participants, and all of the persons involved. Stay blessed by Allah. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, sir, for your informative presentation on the different aspects of and the activities of the Department of Fisheries. I would like to now request the representation of the Bangladesh Fisheries Research Institute here to present his views as a special guest. Unfortunately, the Director General of the Bangladesh Fisheries Research Institute is in the field now, accompanying the Secretary of the Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock, and he has kindly requested his fellow colleague and former Director of Bangladesh Fisheries Research Institute, Dr. Enamul Hoq, to have his speech on behalf of Bangladesh Fisheries Research Institute. Dr. Enamul Hoq, please. Thank you very much.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you. Please carry on.
Honorable Chief Guest of the second biennial conference of Fisheries Society of Bangladesh, respected Chairman of the inauguration session, Dean Faculty of Fisheries, Professor Dr. Mahfuzul Haq, Honorable President of Fisheries Society of Bangladesh, Professor Dr. Shahidul Haq, and other guests of Fisheries Society of Bangladesh. Welcome to everybody in the auspicious occasion of the Fisheries Society of Bangladesh second biennial conference. I am short noticed by the organizer and my Director General that I have to speak some things about the inauguration session. So actually I am not prepared for that moment. Fisheries Society of Bangladesh, we know this is our what is called mother society, and it is the first professional society for the fisheries people in the country. And very fortunate that in time we are organizing the second biennial conference of the Fisheries Society of Bangladesh. I thank the organizer and also the President and General Secretary of the Fisheries Society of Bangladesh for the virtual conference of the Fisheries Society of Bangladesh. Bangladesh Fisheries Research Institute, as you know, the National Research Institute of the country. We are very familiar with the Faculty of Fisheries and Department of Fisheries, our ultimate client in the fisheries development of Bangladesh. Our research thrust at present is the development of marine fisheries of Bangladesh. We already noticed our impressive presentation by the Dr. Shah Alam from the North Carolina University. He emphasized the importance of blue economy all over the country. And in Bangladesh, our government is also give importance for the blue economy development in the country. Under the blue economy development, in our marine station, we are now established a office cum laboratory building to strengthen our research capacity in marine sector. And also, as you know, the BFRI already developed technology of 31 endangered species. Actually, we are the Bengali people's Mache Bate Bangali. So we like our native species, our local species. And according to IUCN, about 65 our local species are endangered. And BFRI try to establish the development of culture and breeding technology of all the endangered species. And till now, we are able to do 31 species for breeding. And also, we are work in the field on the demand of our client Department of Fisheries. The Fisheries Society of Bangladesh also published a journal, Bangladesh Journal of Fisheries. I asked the fellow colleagues to contribute in the journal their research work and also the research updates of the country. With this word, I now conclude my speech. I thank the organizer and also our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Lutful sir. He is always with us, with BFRI, and also the fisheries community of Bangladesh. I thank the organizer again. Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, sir. Former Director of BFRI, Dr. Mohammad Enamul Hoq, and also who is the Associate Editor of the Bangladesh Journal of Fisheries and been the editorial team member for a long time supporting regular publication of this journal. Thank you so very much. And now this is my pleasure to request the Honorable Vice Chancellor of BAU, Professor Dr. Lutful Hassan sir, who is leading BAU towards an excellence and achieving very good standards in higher education in agriculture, and who is really interested to promote blue economy research under the leadership of BAU with the collaboration of BFRI and DOF, and towards the next level of fishery production and export from the country, the Honorable Vice Chancellor of BAU, Professor Dr. Lutful Hassan sir, as a chief guest. Sir.
Many thanks, Dr. Harun.
Thank you, sir.
Respected Chairman of the session, Professor Dr. Mahfuzul Haq, Dean, Faculty of Fisheries, respectful Professor Dr. Shahidul Haq, who is the President of the Association, and Director of Department of Fisheries, as a special guest, and former Director of Bangladesh Fishery Research Institute, and honorable teachers, honorable member of the society, fellow colleagues, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. First of all, I would like to appreciate Dr. MD Shah Alam, who has given a very good presentation on the marine fisheries and blue economy. We are really highly impressed with his presentation. And from his presentation, it's very clear that we got the opportunity now at Bangladesh, in Bangladesh, at Bangladesh Agricultural University, at Bangladesh Fisheries Research Institute, and the Department of Fisheries to do more work so that the economy dependent on marine fisheries will be more lively. So I appreciate Dr. Shah Alam like that. And I know him very well and his family. We got the opportunity to see him and we have good interaction during his stay at Kagoshima University in Japan. And he was a very good scientist over there. And from Kagoshima University, he shifted to United States of America. And now he is doing a very good research in North Carolina. So I would like to take the opportunity to invite Dr. Shah Alam in the Faculty of Fisheries. If the Faculty of Fisheries wants to invite him, we can invite him from our side, from Bangladesh Agricultural University, at least to stay with us at university to see these students and teach these students and frame the research of this blue economy and marine fisheries at Bangladesh Agricultural University and Bangladesh Fisheries Research Institute, if he can manage 1 or 2 months' time here at Bangladesh Agricultural University. This is our invitation to Dr. Shah Alam. Now then, the Faculty of Fisheries and the Department of Fisheries and the Bangladesh Fisheries Research Institute are working in collaboration to do more with these marine fisheries and the blue economy. And the government has put forward a lot of importance in this sector because we have a lot of information that we got a treasure in the Bay of Bengal and we need to harvest this treasure in a very methodical way so that we can develop our country by earning foreign currency, by importing, by exporting fisheries resources in other countries. There are a lot of opportunities now, but not very many work has started. We from Bangladesh Agricultural University are trying very hard to work. For example, we are working with our Honorable Dr. Ghulam Hossain Badul Bhai on blue economy. And you know already that there is 2 or 3 projects are ongoing under the Feed the Future program, where we have a lot of interventions in this line. So we have already started. Now I would like to invite all of you, those who have interest in marine fisheries and blue economy, can come up and do more in this sector. Because in other part of the fisheries research, we have a lot of advancement, we have achievements, we generated a lot of technologies so that the livelihood of the farmers will be improved and is on the way. So we are working in that areas, particularly the feed nutrition, feed processing, aquaculture, fisheries management, marine fisheries. We are covering all the sectors, and the extension work to send this technology or to reach the farmers, the improved technology which has been evolved through the research of the honorable teachers of Faculty of Fisheries and then Bangladesh Fisheries Research Institute and Department of Fisheries. We have already heard from the director of Department of Fisheries that what are the attempts they are going now to. They have a lot of interventions which are coming in future, and they are working hard to uplift the economy of Bangladesh and to make more scope so that we can export fisheries and fisheries resources throughout the world. With these few words, I would like to express my thanks once again to the association president, Professor Dr. Shahidul Haq, and the Dean Faculty of Fisheries, and Dr. Harun and other teachers, those who are associated with the association. So with these few words, I would like to conclude over here, and let us see how these good research papers, other papers will be, the technical session will be started in the afternoon, and all these papers will be presented there, and the technology evolved will definitely go to the farmers for their livelihood. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Honorable Vice Chancellor. It's our pleasure always to have you actually gracing an event like this. And as a leading plant geneticist of the country, you understand better than anyone how important fishery sector is and the blue economy sector is. And you have correctly stressed and you are leading towards the next step of blue economy leadership and research by Bangladesh Agriculture University. Thank you so very much, sir, for inaugurating this event. And we hope that if time allows you, you can also join, sir, our technical session together with others from 2 p.m. today.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. With thanks and gratitude to Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, I would like to now request the Dean of the Faculty of Fisheries, BAU, Professor Dr. Mahfuzul Haq, sir, to have his speech as the chair of this inaugural session, and also close this inaugural session, and together to invite the participant to enjoy the other technical sessions from 2 p.m. So it's my privilege to call my respectable teacher and chair of the conference and chair of this session, Professor Dr. Mahfuzul Haq, sir, to have his speech, closing speech for this session. Sir, please.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Harun Rashid, organizer of this seminar. Fisheries, Bangladesh Fisheries Society second biennial conference chief guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Dr. Lutful Hassan, Upasthit special guests, Mr. Azizul Haq, Director, DOP, Dr. Enamul Hoq from BFRI, different professors from different universities of BAU, scientists from DOP and BFRI, and our keynote speaker, Dr. Shah Alam, and chairman of this society, Professor Dr. Shahidul Haq. Assalamu alaikum. In fact, we have got an opportunity to sit together the fisheries scientists of Bangladesh, and we could exchange our views among us. Dr. Shah Alamer যে কিনোট স্পিচ দিয়েছে, সেখান থেকে আমরা সুন্দরভাবে বুঝে উঠেছি আসলে বাংলাদেশে আমাদের ফিশার্স সেক্টরের ব্যাপক উন্নয়ন হয়েছে। সেটি আমাদের ডপ থেকে যে প্রেজেন্টার ডাইরেক্টর আজিজুল হক বলেছেন, ডক্টর এনামুল হকও বলেছেন, আমাদের ফ্রেশ ওয়াটার সেক্টরে সিগনিফিক্যান্ট ইমপ্রুভমেন্ট হয়েছে। মেরিন সেক্টরেও আমাদের ইমপ্রুভমেন্ট দরকার এবং বাংলাদেশ সরকার বিশেষ গুরুত্ব আরোপ করেছে মেরিন সেক্টরের উপরে, ব্লু ইকোনমির উপরে। এক্ষেত্রে বেশ উদ্যোগ নেওয়া হয়েছে বিভিন্ন অর্গানাইজেশন থেকে। আমাদের কিনোট স্পিকারের স্পিচ থেকে আমরা স্পষ্টতই বুঝতে পেরেছি আমরা যদি মেরিন অ্যাকোয়াকালচার যদি সাকসেসফুল হতে চাই তাহলে তার যে কয়েকটি ধাপ আছে সে ধাপগুলোতে আমাদের আগে থেকেই অনেক অভিজ্ঞতা অর্জন করতে হবে। প্রথম থেকে আমাদের টার্গেটেড ফিশগুলোকে আমাদের অ্যাক্লিমেটাইজ করতে হবে, আমাদের তাদের ব্রিডিং সাকসেসফুল করতে হলে সে টেকনিকগুলো শিখতে হবে, তাদের যে লার্ভাল ফিড সে ডেভেলপ করতে হবে এবং তাদের জুভেনাইল পর্যায়ে পৌঁছাতে যে টেকনোলজিগুলো সেগুলো আমাদের কিন্তু গবেষণার মাধ্যমে অর্জন করতে হবে, তাহলেই আমরা সাকসেসফুল করতে পারবো। পৃথিবীর যে সকল দেশ এই সকল ক্ষেত্রে বিশেষ করে জাপান এবং আমেরিকায় যে সাকসেসফুল হয়েছে সেটি ডক্টর শাহ আলমের প্রেজেন্টেশনে আমরা খুব সুন্দরভাবে বুঝতে পেরেছি। এটি কিন্তু 1-2 বছরে সফলতা আসেনি, বছরের পর বছর কাজ করার মাধ্যমে সে সফলতা এসেছে। অবশ্যই আমরা আমাদের দেশও সফল কাম হতে পারবো, কিন্তু এর পিছনে আমাদের প্রচুর সময়, শ্রম, মেধা ব্যয় করতে হবে। আমি আশা করব যে এই দেশের ফিশারিজ সায়েন্টিস্টরা ফ্রেশ ওয়াটার অ্যাকোয়াকালচার যেভাবে বিশ্বের ভিতরে উল্লেখযোগ্য অবদান রাখতে পেরেছে, আমরা মেরিকালচারে ব্লু ইকোনমিতেও সে ধরনের অবদান রাখতে পারবো। আসলে আমি খুব আস্তে আস্তে কথা বলতেছি, আপনারা হয়তো অনেকে জানেন লাস্ট মান্থে আমার ওপেন হার্ট সার্জারি হয়েছে, কাজেই আমি এখনো পুরোপুরি সুস্থ হইনি, কথা বলতে কিছুটা কষ্ট হইতেছে, আমি কথা বেশি বাড়াতেও চাই না। আর অলরেডি প্রচুর সময়, প্রায় 11:15 বেজে গেছে, 2টার সময় আমাদের টেকনিক্যাল সেশন আছে, আপনারা সবাই পার্টিসিপেট করবেন। আমি সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন করতেছি, সবাই আমার জন্য দোয়া করবেন, আমিও আপনাদের সবার জন্য দোয়া করছি। এই বলে আমি আমার বক্তব্য শেষ করে এবং এই যে ইনঅগুরাল সেশনের সমাপ্তি ঘোষণা করছি। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম স্যার। স্যার থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ স্যার। আপনার
Okay, Dr. Mahfuz, thank you.
স্যার একটু ছবি তুলবো তো স্যার, কাইন্ডলি যদি স্যার একটু ওয়েট করেন স্যার। আমি মাননীয় ভাইস চ্যান্সেলর স্যারের এবং আপনাদের সবার একটু সদয় 1 মিনিট একটু উপস্থিতি চাচ্ছি। তার আগে আমি আমাদের ডিন স্যারকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ জানাই। স্যার আপনার এই শারীরিক অবস্থার মধ্যে আপনি এসেছেন। আমি সবাইকে অনুরোধ করব আপনাদের ভিডিওটা একটু অন করার জন্য, আমরা যাতে গ্যালারি ভিউ দিয়ে একটু ছবি নিতে পারি। সবাই একটু ভিডিওগুলো অন করুন, আমি জাস্ট একটু কষ্ট করে 1 মিনিট সময় নেব আপনাদের। থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। আমরা সবাইকে দেখতে পাচ্ছি এবং আমি 2-3টা স্ন্যাপ নিয়ে অনারেবল ভাইস চ্যান্সেলর স্যারের মতো ব্যস্ত মানুষ আরো এখনো আছেন আমাদের উৎসাহ দেওয়ার জন্য, ডিন স্যার আছেন, গোলাম হোসেন স্যারকে দেখতে পাচ্ছি। সো আমি একটা স্ন্যাপ নিয়েছি, আরো 2-একটা স্ন্যাপ নেব স্যার।